Market conditions. What are market conditions? What can it have as an impact on your trading strategy? So that's what we're going to go over today in this video. We're going to be looking at the market conditions and when to trade, when not to trade, when to put risk, when to lower risk, and so on. So let's move here to the screen. So market conditions. So what are even market conditions? When I say this, I mean that sometimes market will have a direction. So a direction, this could be going up, it could be going down. Now what I mean is that price is slowly moving either in an upwards direction or in a lower direction, right? Now there's some times where it stays flat and it kind of does this, right? Now, when I say you need to have risk on and risk off is, I mean, let's say for me, I'm a breakout trader, so I trade each time, or I put on a trade each time that it breaks a support or resistance level, a order block level, all of these. So for me, my strategy really only works for this. And when market condition is sideways, or we can call choppy, right, kind of doing nothing, it doesn't work as well. Obviously it still works, I just have to make it a little more aggressive, and also my risk is lower just to preserve my capital, just because I know I have less probabilities of making money. So let's move to the charts. I'll give you a direct example. So let's say we have our SPY here. So we have our SPY. Let's go on a higher time frame. When I mean market conditions, you can see here. So this right here, this is what we call a choppy market, right? This we have direction right here. This we have direction. Here we have direction, right? Here we have direction, direction, and so on. So you get what I mean. So sometimes markets here, we're starting to have some direction. So markets are extremely unpredictable, and you could really never know when there is direction. But if you see an obvious channel, like this one right here at the lower, you know that there is a higher probability that price breaks above highs than, let's say, up here, right? Where market has been chopping for the last, let's say, 2 months. Now, currently I'm in a risk-off environment, right? So I'm not risking as much as I would in a either uptrend or downtrend. Okay, so when I mean market condition, you really have to know where your strategy works best, where you need to put your risk on or off. If you play off support and off resistance on rejections, then you want a choppy market, right? Because you're always looking for that rejection of a support or resistance. Now I do the opposite. I look for the breakout, right? So I need a market that has direction. So this is what I mean, right? You always want to be looking at the market condition that works best for you. For your strategy, this will be different for everyone. You just have to also know in your brain that markets move differently at all times, right? Some markets will chop more. Let's say if we look at NVIDIA here. This one has been chopping for a pretty long time, right? But over here we had great direction, and you would know that there's a higher probability of, let's say, a breakout trader like me to have a breakout because it has been breaking out for, let's say, the last month and a half. Now, obviously you won't know when it switches to a different direction, but that's obviously off of what you can see. Now, other things that can affect market conditions are world events. So right now there's this Iran war going on, so that would affect your market condition. A lot of institutional traders, so people that work in real hedge funds, banks, all of these with bigger portfolios to manage, when there is uncertainty in the world and these big world events, they will take risk off the table. So you will have lower volume, and that's where you can see choppiness and rejections of these support and resistance, because there's not as many institutional traders entering these trades to break out or whatever you're doing, right? So whenever there's something going on in the world, market conditions could change. Now, let's say when there's a new, let's say, president, right? Market condition, this is obviously not where he was elected, but let's say market conditions could have, let's say, a lower or a higher high, and then at one point when there's a new world order, or there's anything that happens kind of government-wise, we could see a shift. So a shift in market condition, we could see a shift in market condition like this, right? So all these events can contribute to those shifts in what you see throughout your day. So I think this goes over really what you need to be looking out for, and especially if you are trading a higher portfolio, whatever suits your trading strategy the most, you want to be more risk on when those conditions present themselves, right? This is pretty obvious, but a lot of traders, what they see is that it's always the same and there will always be a setup, and that's false. You really have to examine where your strategy has a higher performance and where it doesn't. For me, when it's like a choppy market and where it's staying pretty flat, my strategy doesn't work as well. So then I know to reduce my risk, right? But when market condition has a direction, then I know to increase my risk, right? So that's how you have to play it to make sure that you're winning the most possible, the most amount of trades possible. So yeah, so I think that goes over really everything you need to know about the market conditions and what you need to do. So I have a free Discord, first link in the description. You could join there, ask me any questions, completely free. Also, like, subscribe if you enjoyed it, and yeah, there'll be more videos coming soon. So yeah, ciao.